Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful episode. Hopefully, it's going to be a wonderful episode of Progressively Yours Health and Wellness podcast. I'm Dr. Imani, my aunt.
I'm J. Bernard Kynes Sr., and we're so happy that you are with us this evening.
Yep, it's going to be another exciting show. We're all about sharing people and organizations that are making a difference in terms of health and wellness and in terms of the community, in terms of lifting other people up. And this evening's guest is no exception to what it is we're trying to do and share with the community. But before we introduce our guest, we're going to do a little introduction. Bernard usually starts with a little spiritual intro, and I follow up with an affirmation. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Would you, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, please join me if you wish to participate. This is our spiritual moment where we welcome the ancestors. And I'd just like to invite you to take 3 cleansing breaths. If you would just close your eyes and take in 3 cleansing breaths through the nose, in and out. Begin to become centered so that we can receive what Brother Kenneth is going to share with us tonight for our spirit, mind, and body. We give thanks to our ancestors for the opportunity to be present in this space and in this place. And as we come to present this show to you, the listening audience, we do not worship our ancestors. We do pay homage for their life and legacy in the many years, and those who survived the transatlantic voyage. We are their descendants. And because they were, we are. Because we are, they were. Therefore, may the cloud of witnesses be with us. Protect the 4 corners of this space so that as we share tonight with you and you with us, we know that the ancestors are with us. Ashe.
Ashe.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was wonderful. So now that you're centered and grounded, I want to share a little bit from a book. And it's interesting. I always feel like, I have a large collection of books, and some of them are still packed from when I was in Virginia Beach recently and still sorting through a lot of things. But for some reason, this book has been out and it's sort of been calling to me for the past few days. And so I picked it up today. It's a book by Dr. Wayne Dyer, who many of you probably know. It's called Living the Wisdom of the Tao, the Complete Tao Te Ching and Affirmations. This is what it looks like. And I'm not necessarily promoting the book, but I'm always promoting words that help to inspire us and help us to get stronger and move forward path. The back of the book, it says, this book offers you an opportunity to internalize and directly experience the great wisdom of the Tao Te Ching, a collection of verses authored by the Chinese prophet Lao Tzu. The words of Tao Te Ching translate to living and applying the great way. Although just 81 short verses, the Tao encourages you to change your life by literally changing the way you think. By reading through the verses presented here, which he said he's pieced together after reviewing hundreds of translations, along with the corresponding affirmations that he created for each verse, You'll be embarking on a path that encompasses the profound ideas that Lao Tzu intended to convey. So what I want to share is the first verse and the affirmation that goes with it. It's very short, and it says, "The Tao that can be told is not the internal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name." I'm sorry, I'm going to start again. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The Tao is both named and nameless. As nameless, it is the origin of all things. As named, it is the mother of 10,000 things. Every desireless one can see the mystery. Ever desiring, one sees only the manifestations. And the mystery itself is the doorway to all understanding. And the affirmation that Dr. Wayne Dyer created for that first verse is, "I choose to enjoy living the great mystery. The Tao that can be named is not the Tao." So just think about that. It's a lot deeper than the words convey, but I think it gives us something to think about. So with that,
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. With that, I am going to move forward and invite our wonderful guest, Mr. Kenneth Zakee. I've always called him Brother Zakee from when I met him, like probably 30 years ago. My son was a small child, so yeah, it was about 30 years ago. Brother Zakee resides in Atlanta, Georgia. He is a poet and author of 3 books of poems, Revelation to Manifestation, Teach Them How to Fish, and Red, White, and Blues. He is a founding member of the KMT Aden, America's first African fraternity, founded on the campus of our own Morehouse College here in Atlanta. He is an artist who specializes in mixed media, including textile art, wearable art, greeting cards, gourd art, and more. Phenomenal, phenomenal work, but you'll get to see some of it. I'm excited about that. And he's actually working on a gourd for us, a Sankofa gourd.
All right.
So I hope that's coming along, Brother Zakee. All right. You know, that's why I had you on the show, so I bribe you to finish that piece. Not really. So Brother Zakee is on the board of directors of the Artsxchange Community Cultural Cte. He is a cultural ambassador and performs naming ceremonies for his community. He is working on a recording of his poems with musicians that should be out by 2023. He daily works on his craft, and his artwork is in demand. Website is zkzakee.com. Facebook is Kenneth Zakee, Zakee. Instagram is Kenneth Zakee. Can't miss him. He's all over Facebook. I see him all the time, every day. And with the new pieces, I don't know how he does it. You know, a lot of us, you know, we're lagging and making excuses for why we're not on our craft, but he is definitely on his craft, and I'm just so honored to know him and to be able to share him with our guests. So without further delay, we'd like to bring Brother Zakee up to the front. Hey, Brother Zakee.
Thank you. Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We hear
Can you
you.
hear me?
Yes.
We hear you fine.
Greetings, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Maz, for that wonderful introduction.
Oh, I could have said a lot more.
The good news is your gourd is ready.
Really? Woo! I can't wait.
Yes,
Are you going to show it to us this evening?
The Sankofa gourd has both Sankofa symbols on it.
Wow. Your sound is coming
You
through
know
a little.
symbols on the Sankofa.
Brother Zakee, your sound, it's not coming through really clearly.
Okay, let me see. How's that?
It's okay, but now we can't see you too well. You got more light?
I think you hit your mute.
You're muted. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we hear
Can
you,
you
but
hear
the visual, we hear you,
Okay.
but we want to be able to see you too. I'm wondering if you can turn your
Okay.
computer around or something just so we can see you a little better. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, much better. Yes.
Okay, here I am.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes,
Wow.
Perfect.
thank you so much for having me on the program. And again, I do have your board ready.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
we're so excited about that. And if you want to show it this evening, that's that's perfectly fine with us. Do you want
Oh,
to?
no problem, no problem.
Okay. Thank you.
No
Thank you.
problem.
So we usually let our guests kind of decide how they want to flow with the evening. And it's funny because normally we ask questions and our guests respond, to the questions. And we had someone recently and she came on and she had like an hour presentation. And I'm like, "Ooh, can I say something?" So it was just a little awkward. We got through it and then we ended up having a dialogue, but we love for it to be informal and a dialogue. And so we're going to let you take it away if you want to share poetry or however you would like to present.
Thank you. I can do some poetry.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I can
sir.
share some poetry.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, all that motivated me the most.
I'm still having a little trouble hearing you.
I said all the words you said when you say I can share some poetry, that motivated me the most.
All right.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So,
So, okay, well, let me, but I know we don't have much time, so I will share some poetry and I'll get into my story. I think I can do that for you.
Okay, thank you so
This
much.
first poem, you're welcome. This first poem is entitled Used to. I know some folks I call used to. All they would talk about is yesterday, what they used to do. I used to read. I used to cook. I used to exercise. I used to pray. They used to. We used to. Used to. Used to. Used to. They never talk about what they're doing today. They used to.
They used
did
to.
y'all hear that?
Got it, huh? I mean,
That's right, you heard it.
that's a good place to start because I mean, I think as an artist, your art motivates people and your words motivate people. And we want people to not be in the used to category. We want them to be in the now and to be standing in their purpose and doing their work. So I like that.
Yes, ma'am. That's what that's all about. That's what that poem is all about. You know, let's talk about what we're doing today. Let's not dwell on the past, particularly when that past is where we learn the lesson. We only dwell on the past to learn the lessons from it, but we don't dwell on it for the heartache and the setback and the rejection. We dwell on the past for the lesson and the blessing. You know, but we have too much to do to be stuck in the past like quicksand. So that's what that poem was born out of, you know, and like it's used to. Forget used to. What we doing today? The Most High gave us a new day today. Let's take advantage of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I so agree. What are your thoughts?
Since this is my first time meeting you, Brother Kenneth, tell us being the audience, a little bit about who you are and where were you born, where'd you grow up, and something about your childhood that may be a part of how you have become who you are.
Good question. You're
Can't
hear
muted.
you.
You're muted.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Hold on, Brother Zakee. Let's see if our producers can help you get your sound back. Hold on one second. Hold the line a second. Audio issues may need to go out and come back in. Brother Zakee, our producer said there's some audio issues and you may have to go back out and come back in. And we'll wait for you. There won't be a problem. You mind doing that?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an interesting poem.
I know.
Used to. That requires some, it shows his creativity and imagination in terms of, and so I'm interested to see more of his work. I pulled his work up online.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And, yeah, he's got some beautiful. Like the wearable art in particular. We saw one with a little boy this morning. It had an ankh on it. It had like a hoodie, and it had an ankh on it. It was so beautiful. And he also does visual art as well. So I've been enjoying his art for years. One of my favorite Brother Zakee stories is I was in the West End, and there was a festival or something going on. I forget what festival it was. This was probably about 4 years ago. And he was riding an electric bike. And I was so intrigued, and it was kind of like a cross between a moped and a bicycle, but it was electric. And people were like taking turns riding, and he was letting people take the, electric bike and go down the street and come back and go down the street and come back. So I was just standing there watching, and he's like, "Come on, Sister Imani, come on. You gotta get on the bike." And I'm like, I'm not good with electric stuff. And he encouraged me, and I rode, and it was so much fun. At that point, I said, I would love one of these, but I won't get any exercise on it. So I said, I don't know. Now they have a cross between bikes and like electric and regular, so you're able to pedal. And but for hills and things, you can go into the power mode. So I actually have some friends who have that version of bikes. And I was like, maybe we could do that.
Maybe.
Okay. We'll see. And for those of you who don't know, while we're waiting for Brother Zakee, should I tell him?
Sure, call.
Okay, I'll tell him. All right. So I was popped the question yesterday, and I said yes. I know. It's one of those shocking, exciting moments, but yeah, he's the one. He's the dude.
It was an interesting setup,
Oh, you have to tell them all our business. No.
Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No.
Kenneth Zakee is back. Whew.
Saved by the bell.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll share more later, but it was a beautiful moment. Brother Zakee, let's see if we can. Yes.
Hello. Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's getting warm in here. Whew.
Like my granddaddy said, tricknology.
Yeah, I know. It happens to the best of us. But I'm glad we can hear you. So you were just about to tell us your story, your history, and some things from your past that have led to where you are, who you are in this moment.
Yes, well, I was blessed to have been born in Cleveland, Ohio. And, I came up just about like everybody else, like when back in the 60s, and I experienced, the Black Power movement, the Civil Rights movement. And I'll never forget the profound effect that Dr. King's assassination had on my life, particularly when, in Cleveland, my hometown, they burnt the city on fire. It's like, and I'll never forget this one particular area, the Huff Avenue neighborhood, and how it was miles away from where I lived. But I'll never forget the smell of the smoke and the smoke burrowing in the air, when Dr. King was assassinated, and shortly thereafter, the advent of the Black Power movement, the Black nationalists. I'll never forget all of that, going to Thurgood Marshall Recreation Center and seeing the brothers with the congas, the bongos, brothers wearing the barrettes and the black denim outfits with the combat boots and those colors, red, black, and green standing out. That had a profound effect on my life, you know, and I seen that stuff, the afros, the soul train, and all that era. That's where I came up in. Black pride, you know, the afro pick with the black power sign on it. You know, that was me. That was I was in the midst of that. That stuff left an imprint on me, you know, and so, and that was in Cleveland, Ohio, and it's always instilled a love for my people in me, you know, and just everything that I do is a reflection of my love for our culture and my people, you know, and that's if I can, the question you asked me, that if I had to answer that question any other way, that's what I would say in a nutshell. That is what shaped me into who I am. Also knowing family and community. I came up in a time when in the neighborhoods, if somebody died, you saw a wreath on the door, on that family's house or something, you saw a wreath. And that told you there was somebody who made a transition. I came up in a time when the community came to your aid. They made sure that that family ate, had food, had money. They was taken care of when they was mourning, and being there for them during that funeral, whether they be close friends, family, just know them, just show up to pay respect. That's what I came up in. I came up in around poverty, of course, but it's like when I traveled to Africa, the thing that I admire most about Africans in the midst of all that poverty, they have a strong sense of family and community, something that I envy. And I recall that, I remember that in my childhood, that was right here in America.
Absolutely. I know one thing, I used to see the older women sweeping off their front porch, even if it was dirt, they were still sweeping it because there was a pride about their lives and where they lived. And even if they didn't have anything, they'd meet you as a guest, you're from another country, what do you take? How can I serve you? And they would send a child to run down the street and get a soda or something just because, you know, we were guests. And it's just so beautiful how, you know, the feeling of community and also welcoming us as African people back, you know, it's kind of like, you look like cousin so-and-so, you know, and they would embrace you. And sometimes they would cry and you would cry. It's like, wow, I love going back to that. Where did you go in Africa, Brother Zakee?
I was in Senegal and Gambia, and I also traveled to Ghana.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been to Ghana a couple of times. Just returned this past August. I was there in 2019 when the year of return, and it was fantastic. Homegoing was my first time.
Yes.
Remembered when the thing that struck me the most when we landed at the airport, that was in 2019, because this brother in the back had this deep bass voice, and he started laughing like, "Ha ha ha, Africa!" And it was just amazing. And when I was walking inside the airport, one of the young ladies came up who was a greeter, and she looked at me and she said, "It is good to see you. Welcome home." And Brother Zakee, I literally, my brain shook. I was like, home? Wow. And it was just an amazing moment. And so this past trip, few months back, we lived out in the village, and to see the hospitality as we would walk 5 miles each morning through the villages, one in particular, people were just hospitable, and they were out, as Imani was saying, you know, using the brush to clean the dirt in front of their homes, you know. Yeah. So much dignity and self-respect, just beautiful. And how does even your travels to the motherland inspire your artistic work and the poetry that you write?
Now, like I say, man, it's my people here in the diaspora, you know, wherever I'm just around people, man, and it just inspired me. I wrote a poem the next day after I returned home from my first trip. I wrote a poem about that. and I'm going to share it with you all right now. It's called Full Circle.
Wow.
Here I stand in the motherland. Here I stand on Boulevard Martin Luther King Jr. Here I stand, an African from America in the motherland. Senegal, a measuring stick for my identity. Everywhere I go, I see Africans, blue, black, true black, folks who reminded me of family and friends. Dakar, Karlak, Rufus, and Gorée Island. Yeah, Gorée Island, where they housed the enslaved. I stood at the doorway of no return, surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean, filled with the graves of my ancestors who never knew America. I touched my European strain and experienced emotional pain every time my caramel hand shook those of my dark fudge Senegalese brothers and sisters. I recognized the bastard in me. I recognized the Western in me. A bastard child returning to his mother. I witnessed the remnants of French colonization, French bread, French cars. Nanga Deaf, how are you? Mangi Farek, I'm fine. Mama Senegal taught me some Wolof and French, and I got used to the stench of sewage and goats when I put aside the Western in me. Converted my dollars into CFAs, ate rice with my right hand out the same plate with my brother man, all 9 of them. I touched the baobab tree and said, look at me, African from America and the motherland. I traveled to Senegal with romantic eyes and came back with open eyes, understanding the division, a different man with a global vision. Jeff. Thank you.
Wow. That was profound. That was so deep. So
Thank
deep.
you.
I love
Thank
that.
you. And like I said, I wrote that the second day I returned home. And I was that for my first trip there, I was there for like 6 weeks.
Wow.
And I traveled around Senegal. Dakar was a base, but I traveled to all those places I mentioned. I traveled there. I spent one day at Touba. Touba is like their Mecca, like what Mecca is to Saudi Arabia. That's where their spiritual leaders are, the Marabout. And a lot of families go there to consult the Marabout for like future plans, as far as like future moves and stuff that they should do, like traveling abroad or this or that. They like go there to get their conferment for the most part. And so I traveled there and I spent time with them in Touba. And it was just, that was my first time there, you know, and it was like, it was a culture shock for me. I'm gonna be honest with you, know, like I take pride in, you know, African culture, but I recognize the Western in me. I truly did. I'm walking down the street with my friend Amadou. I'm eating a banana. I say, man, where am I gonna put this banana peel? He said, give it to me. He took it and threw it on the ground. We took 5 paces and then I turned around and the goat was eating it.
Wow.
This is in downtown. I mean, it looked like downtown Atlanta. You know, I had to make some adjustments. Then we go to the neighborhoods. It ain't nothing to see. It ain't nothing to see. Goats, chickens, just like apartment buildings, all this modernity and stuff. And then like you seeing stuff, it's like city, country, city, you know?
That's amazing. When I was in, well, one of the times I was in South Africa, I've been a couple times. I was in a restaurant waiting for some friends, and I was standing in the doorway, and the woman who I guess was the maitre d' or whatever, she started talking to me. And at first she thought I was from there. And then, you know, she realized I was from the States, you know, and she asked me a question that was so profound. She said, so how is it living abroad? And I was like, damn. I mean, that was such a deep.
Wow. That's like my brother said when she said, welcome home.
Right.
Wow.
Right. But she said, what is it like living abroad? It's like we're here, but this isn't really our place. And I was like, I think I could only get out the words, "It's interesting." I think that was my response to her, but it's a question that has not haunted me, but it just keeps coming up all the time. And that trip was at least 20 years ago. So I think it is amazing. And something else you said when you described the time period that you came through, and many people watching the show and listening also came through during that time, but some people didn't take it as seriously. You know, it's like sisters had the afros and stuff, and then they went back to straightening their hair. And I'm like, I don't get it. It's like, I thought we were really into this. I thought we were really doing ourselves. And what made it different for you? I mean, because a lot of people kind of, played all worlds, as opposed to, you're just like focused, and that's who you are. And you took the lessons from the past, Sankofa, to go forward, and still, you still believe in and are excited and motivated by the culture, by who you are, by your roots. And that's what you project, in your arts. What makes you different from the folks who are middle of the roading it?
I guess programming, it's like, it's our choices and stuff. Back then, I read books, the autobiography of Malcolm X, The Invisible Man, Black Boy, all of those. I was just into those books, and it spoke to who I am as a Black man, as a man child in America. And also we came through to a period where, the music we listen to, you can open up the album cover and like look at, read, and it's like reading a book. And I mean, then you're reading the words, then you're listening to the words. I remember coming out of high school, I had this young lady, her and I, we liked each other, but we were like, it was like platonic, but there was some potential there. But anyway, we would meet at her home, and Stevie Wonder's album come out. Her and I, it was like a big thing for her and I to sit at her home, and we would read that jacket cover and listen to every song, and we discussed that. And those words and those lyrics and stuff, the Kenny Gamble, Leon Huff duo, and then they had an album, OJ's Family Reunion, Teddy Pendergrass coming out with Wake Up Everybody, and all these wonderful words are on the album jacket.
Yeah.
Right.
That was part of my education. Education is not limited to the classroom.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And so the exposure we had in our culture at that time, I mean, that's what we was making that transition. It was self-love and self-pride. And then I'm listening to the Last Poets. I'm listening to Gil Scott-Heron. That was my programming.
Absolutely.
That was my programming. And everybody I was hanging around, that was their programming.
Absolutely.
So, I know where I'm at. And like I said, I'm just fueled by our beautiful culture. We'd like to say the African race is like a rubber ball. The harder you bounce it, the higher it rises.
Wow.
And you look at what all they're trying to do to us, what they've been trying to do for us for years, what they've been trying to do to us recently. You look at our babies, a good sign of our survival and our growth is our babies. A lot of those babies that Sister Imani was talking about, like when I met her son, when we met her son like 30 years ago, those people are making some noise out there. You look at the LeBron James, you look at the James Fox Entertainment athlete, those people, they buying media companies. They're going to control the images. You look at Wakanda and stuff. You look at what happened. That movie was 2 hours and 40-some minutes long. And you look at those beautiful images. This is our day. The seeds are being planted amongst our babies, y'all. I feel you can't say nothing bad to me about our future. These people are afraid of extinction. Like before I left Cleveland back in 1986, a visiting Ohio State professor came to the Cleveland Public Library and did a lecture. It was called The Extinction of the White Man. And he went on to say his premise was the average age of a Latino is 21 years old. The average age of a Black American is 24. The African age of a European American is 35. That's why that right there is their rationale for the Trumps and stuff. Anybody who throw dog whistles about black people, African people and stuff, that's their good friend.
Mm.
You know, that's what that's about. But like I say, the African race is like a rubber ball. The harder you bounce it, the higher it rises. They can't stop us. They can't stop us. I'm convinced of that. And particularly when we embrace our culture and don't suffer, like Dr. Naeem Akbar said, from CADES, cultural alienation, immunization deficiency syndrome. When we embrace our culture, we measure up to who we are.
Absolutely. When you're walking in your power, and it doesn't mean you hate other people.
It
You know, and that's what we're always told. Oh, you and that black stuff. You know, and like that's something bad to be
exactly
embracing our culture and our history.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what strength is. Embracing who we are.
Exactly. You know, they don't silence us with that madness. They don't silence. I'm gonna always talk. Call me whatever you want to. Dr. Khalid Muhammad said, "A person who loves art is an artist. A person who loves race is a racist." Love their race.
Which is an invented term in and of itself.
Absolutely.
Just like they trying to steal the word Hebrew from us. I mean, you know, I ain't gonna even go there. We're gonna leave that alone, y'all. I want y'all thing to go viral.
leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Can you share with us some of your art with us and with the audience?
Yes, but before I leave, I would like to really share another poem with you all that speaks to what we just talked about coming up in the 60s and 70s and 80s. I have a special piece called "They Don't Look Like Them." Can I mean, no, that ain't it. I'm sorry. That's my car.
That's my car.
Yeah. Can I share that and then share some more?
Absolutely. We got time. We still have plenty of time.
That's my car.
This poem is called "That's My Car." Thunderbird. That's my car. Mustang. That's my car. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. April 4th, 1968, the king went down and the flames went up. All over America, Newark, LA, DC, Detroit, and my hometown, Cleveland, Ohio. Pale-faced soldiers took over my neighborhood, patrolled on foot and jeeps, put us on curfew and gave me the creeps. Little Johnny and I could no longer play. That's my car under the moonlit sky. Instead, we watched the pale-faced soldiers walk by. Never before had I seen so many white folk in my community brandishing firearms which triggered black unity. Watu Wazuri, beautiful people. Use Afro Sheen. Brothers and sisters, stop putting chemicals in their hair and bleaching their skin. Clenched fists, we pumped in the air, drew on our roots and made the red, black, and green known everywhere. Police brutality was rampant. As it is now, still things had to change and we would not bow. For God's sakes, we got to give more power to the people. Brothers and sisters were happy to be nappy. Proud to see their likeness in the Black Panthers, Huey Newton, Angela Davis, Jim Brown, James Brown, Muhammad Ali, Dr. King, and Malcolm X. Exactly what J. Edgar Hoover couldn't stand. Black folk talking back to Uncle Sam. He developed and executed a plan, deposited dope in our community, created pushers and dope fiends to disrupt our unity. Cadillac. That's my car, diamond in the back, sunroof top, big on the scene with the gangster lean. Ooh, ooh. Hollywood gave us the Mac and Superfly, and the revolution seemed to die. Freddie's dead. That's what I said. Brothers and sisters tossed out their combat boots for stacked heel shoes, which gave their feet the blues. Afros became Jerry curls, and another chapter began to unfurl. Mercedes-Benz, That's my car, BMW. That's my car. Affirmative action pulled up to the curb, created a new middle class. The satisfaction came from moving to the suburbs. Ain't nothing going on but the rent. You gotta have a J-O-B if you want to be with me. The 80s produced the me generation, me, as if we were free. The youth of the 90s wore pants with a droop, baseball caps backwards, listening to Snoop, want to be like Mike and take the rock to the hoop, driving vehicles with serious rims, music blasting, talking about a future that's dim. I got my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Things could be worse. That's my car. Long, black, Cadillac hearse. That's my car. Gotta go. Gotta run. Here comes the number 71.
Wow.
Wow, that's powerful.
Thank you.
And you memorize it, or you well, that I don't have to ask you that, but wow, yeah, that's amazing. I've always been bad at memorizing my poetry, but you know, you're the real deal. I just write.
Thank you. You know, some says it's like when a poem comes to me, it be so intense. Like if I don't write it down right away, it's like it just burns me. So I got to do it. And it's like because of that passion that I have when I write it, it just stays with me. When I go to recite it again, I just return to that passion. And I just try to bring it back each time.
Right. That's powerful. That is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your poetry. And I look forward to it. In your bio, it says that you're putting some of your poetry to music.
Yes, I'm working with Masiki Scales. He's producing it for me. And in fact, we were together earlier, and you all are the first to find this out. We're going to do one a little earlier than 2023. I wrote a Kwanzaa piece, and it's going to debut during Kwanzaa this year.
Oh, wonderful. I look forward to hearing that. Let me know.
Thank you. We want to make a point of doing it because, you know, we don't really have a lot of Kwanzaa songs out there. And so that's what we're going to do it. We're going to put it out during Kwanzaa.
Oh, that's going to be nice. And Brother Masiki Scales is phenomenal. So you're the right person.
Yeah. It's going to be my poetry with music in the background.
With music.
And the music going to be prominent.
Okay. All right. I hear you, Mr. Last Poets. I love it.
I am so excited.
Yeah, that is wonderful.
It's going to be all on the radio. It's going to get some radio play.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I look forward, and we'll definitely have you back and have you share that too. That'll be wonderful.
For sure.
So show us some of the gourds and your wearable art, and I know you have a big collection around your room.
I am in my studio, so let me put a little light on the subject, and I'll show you all my stuff.
Wow. Okay.
I'm in a lab as I speak to you all right now.
Okay.
I call it my studio stash lab.
Okay.
Sometimes I can be a mad scientist, you know?
Yeah.
It's okay. A happy scientist.
Yeah, there you go. Happy. I'm right. Y'all give me 1 second. You can see some of my stuff right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful.
My greeting cards.
Yes. I know I've bought greeting cards from you. Those are really, really nice. And where's your studio? Where can people get the cards and the other things?
I'm in East Point. In the Artsxchange. We're right down the street from Tyler Perry.
Oh, nice. Okay. So we should, we'll get our producers to put your links on the screen just so that folks can see it again. But his work is phenomenal. Wow. I saw that piece, the black and white one, that gourd. That is so nice. And so tell people how you make these gourds. Do you actually start with the raw material?
Well, you know, gourds are in the like pumpkin family. They grow on trees.
Mm-hmm.
And like they don't have no real utility because they have an inedible stuffing in them.
Okay.
And so basically they use them like for containers in Africa. But like for me, they're my canvases.
Right. Right.
I like the three-dimensional effect of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so like this is like a wall full of them right here. You can see.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, those are absolutely beautiful. Look at the colors. Wow. Do you use what type of paints do you use? Use oils?
I use acrylics.
Acrylics?
Acrylic, yeah.
Okay. Sankofa, I see it. Ah, that's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
That's the one I made for you.
Really? Wow.
Yes, that's yours.
Okay, well, I can't wait to come and get it from you, buy it from you. We want to support you. You're
I
an
hear
artist.
you.
We support your work and encourage other people to. I mean, those are just absolutely beautiful.
So, Brother Zakee, how long does it take you to make one of the gourds?
I can make them in days. Of course, with everything, it depends on the amount of detail comes with it. Because
Right.
there's some pieces that I can make. They're like that, but it's some that I've actually drawn on them, like people's faces. So naturally, that would take a little longer than doing like a symbol or something.
Okay. Wow. And
I like that piece.
which one?
This one.
Oh yeah, that wall hanging.
Describe that wall hanging. Is that a trike star?
It's got
That's
Kente.
a dancer.
That's a dancer.
Yeah, that's a dancer, a male dancer.
Can you get in closer? Wow. Oh yes. That is amazing. And it's done with Kente cloth.
Yep, and mud cloth border.
Wow. The border is mud cloth. Yeah, that is beautiful. That is so nice. And wow, I could stay on the gourds for the next hour or two. I do want you to show us some of your wearable art as well, because I know you have featured those on Facebook.
Okay, this is a denim jacket that I just.
That's beautiful. So that's this. You start with denim, and then you put the African.
I do the design. I don't sew. I did the design on. Somebody gave me that jacket, and they told me to enhance it.
Look at the Sankofa. That is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
That's similar to our logo, where the Sankofa bird is. It's a yellow and black design. Wow, that's nice. So that's got the fringes on it. Cool beans.
Yes, ma'am.
That is nice.
I'm working on some new stuff right now. I'm working on like hoodies and fleece pieces.
Okay. Yep. For the cold weather, that makes sense.
Yes, ma'am. I do hoods and stuff, but I haven't started on them yet because I've been so busy making cards for the holiday season. I've just about wrapped them up.
Oh wow. Okay. Wonderful. So you sell cards in packs, like
yes, ma'am. Well, I sell them. I do like assortments for people and stuff. My prices are like $5 a card, but it's $45 for a dozen.
Oh wow.
So you can get like an assortment or whatever you want. That's basically how I do it. But when a person get a dozen, they saving like $15 and they get three extra cards.
Wow, that's wonderful. Really good, really good. Oh, that is beautiful.
That's beautiful, man.
Oh no, I could get in some trouble coming to your studio. That is really, really nice.
I have one to show you all. This is one that a little bit of everybody like.
Oh wow. Oh man.
True love.
Yes, indeed.
That is absolutely gorgeous. So are those pieces of cloth that you kind of?
Those are little pieces. That's right. Those are fabric scraps in that.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that. Somebody worked with my mom, and she made it. She made a piece, or she helped my mom to make a piece, and it was made from scratch. That's why I recognized it. It was a similar way of putting the colors together. That is absolutely beautiful. So you don't have to waste any of your scraps. You know, you can make them into
I
art.
don't.
Yeah, that's nice. And you like doing children's wearables too. I've seen some that were highlighted on Facebook. There's some little onesies. Oh, that's so cute. That is so nice.
And for you writers,
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Nice.
my notebooks.
Oh, I love those. And I'm needing a new notebook too. I'm gonna have to make my holiday list.
Yes, ma'am. I have so many of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wonderful. Well, we will.
Yes, indeed. So that's some of my art.
Thank you so much. We will encourage people to. And so, will you? Because we have people listening from all over the country. Will you, if people want to order, will you mail them out?
That's what I do.
Okay. All right.
Yes, ma'am. I would gladly mail it out if they're in the States. That's not a problem.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful.
Do it all the time.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. So good. So,
Yeah.
let me just see. What's our time?
8 minutes.
Got 8 minutes left.
Oh wow, this run is going fast.
It goes really fast. You know, once we get into, discussion. And the nice thing about this is you can share it afterwards. You can share this with your
Oh,
people.
good.
And on different we should have, I don't know if it's right away or by later tonight, but I'll check with our producer Janet and Toya about that. But you can definitely share it on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you put a video, you'll be able to share.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So I've heard people call you the mayor of the West End. I saw a beautiful mural of you, and where was that done? It's on a building somewhere.
Oh, a friend of mine posted that they had a photo app. That was a photo app.
Okay.
And it looked so natural. I said, "Wow."
Wow.
I belong in the building, though. I appreciate the thought.
Yeah.
But something, Sister Imani, it's interesting. That is the name of my recording that I'm putting out in 2023. It's called "The Mayor of the West End."
Oh, wow.
The West End. Wow.
I love it. Well, you wear it well, and I usually see you when I'm in the West End. So
Thank you. And most people call me that because they know me in the West End, like being in the AU Center for a number of years, hosting the Malcolm X Festival, emceeing the Malcolm X Fest. I held poetry readings, open mic poetry reading for about 7 years in the West End. I lived in the West End for a number of years. So a brother called me that, I think about 25 years ago or something, and it just stuck. I have people like, I'm walking down the street, "Hey, Mayor," and it's like, how do they know? I'm like, how do they know?
Right,
So I thought the appropriate name for my CD would be "The Mayor of the West End."
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just
Thank
claim
you.
it, because you've been such a visible presence, and your smile, your encouragement. I don't think I've ever seen you frown or have a negative thing to say about it. When we were waiting for you to come back on, I was saying one of my best memories was, it was some festival going on in the West End, and you were riding your electric bike, and you would let people take turns up and down the street, and you said, "Come on, Sister Imani, come on, try it." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness," like that. He said, "Come on, try it."
I remember that.
That was one. And I was like, and I really liked it, but I was telling the audience, I said, I get one of these, I won't get any exercise. I said, I gotta keep pumping, you know, and moving and doing hot yoga and other things I do to try to stay healthy, you know, in the midst of
Yes,
all
ma'am.
but that was a fun day, and I know a lot of people appreciated you letting them have a ride.
Yes, ma'am. They did.
Yeah,
They did.
yeah, that was wonderful.
I can't wait to get back on my bike.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
All
I got
right.
me a bionic leg.
Oh, really?
A bionic leg.
That thing costs $27,000. I got to charge it every 2 days, and they got to program it.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a prosthetic. They got to charge. I got to charge it every 48 hours. I'm going in. I'm getting it. It came my birthday, but we had to make some adjustments. Okay. So now I'm going in Friday, and they're going to. I'm putting on. They're going to program. I say program.
Program. Well, you know, robotics now is like, you know, it's the thing. It is like there's nothing they can't recreate. So that's amazing.
I feel blessed, you know, and like, you know, I truly feel, you know, like this. My New Year started off with me having 3 surgeries in 10 days.
Mm. Yeah,
you know, I was away from my studio for like 5 months. You know, recuperating, getting my mind together, and I tell you, I've had to talk to myself. That small voice inside my head, I had to control it like never before. I had to steer it. I had to be the counselor that I had been for so many others. You know, for me to just pull myself through and, you know, come to grips with my reality. And I looked at it, I'm 65 years old by the grace of the Most High. I've done so much in that time, you know, and I say if it had to happen to me at any point, this was really a good time. I'm still able to do the things I love doing, do my art and share my poetry. And so I just got an attitude of gratitude. You know, I'm very thankful. That's what every day I just wake up and give thanks. I just love being here and continue to absorb my beautiful people, my culture, and this life. I'm just a very grateful person. And I'm also grateful for being part of y'all program and, you know, just sharing good vibes with people. Thank y'all very much for having me.
You're so welcome. And I know we're out of time, but I just want you, because I know that you're into health and wellness, and tell us a little bit about what you did in terms of building yourself up through your healing process, because I know it was a major piece for you.
Yes, indeed. It's like being balanced, you know, with meditation, you know, my nutrition, you know, being around good people and good energy, you know, and like also getting back into my art. I was away from my art for like 5 months. That's the longest I've ever been away for so long. And when I got back into my groove with my art, I just started feeling whole again, you know, because my art, I'm grateful that people love the beauty of my art and like purchasing it. But even they did not be doing, I was doing this art when wasn't nobody interested. And then, and even now, it's my therapy.
Gotcha.
That's powerful.
It's my therapy. My poetry is my therapy. The only way I write poetry, I had to get it out of me. I just had to get out. You know, one of the main things we as human beings have to do is express ourselves. To get out, you know, so we don't be shut up and do crazy stuff. So my art is an outlet. It's my therapy.
It's an outlet.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. We are so out of time, but this has been one of my favorite shows. This has been
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing with
Nice
us.
meeting you, my brother.
All right, good to meet you. We'll be over to see you
soon.
All right, good people. Look forward to it.
All right, and next week our guest will be Dr. Luther Smith, who is a professor emeritus of Church and Community, Candler School of Theology. And he will have a lot to share with us. He's very involved in many of the communities, Howard Thurman expert. And so we look forward to an evening with Dr. Luther Smith. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Brother Zakee. Thank you, Janet, for helping to produce the show. And everyone have a wonderful evening.
Wonderful evening.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's where our numbers really count.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Ashe.
Peace and blessings.
Ashe.
Ashe.